So, so Simon, congratulations on the award. Obviously, the result before the Christmas break wasn't what you wanted, but overall, it's been a good month for you.
Yeah, really good. I think, after the first four games this season, we had 4 points. So we went on a run, gained a little bit of momentum, and it took us to the top of the league. But unfortunately, the week the weekend just gone, we suffered our first defeat in a while. So yeah, it was a disappointing. But I think reflecting on the run we went on, there's been a lot of success in that short period.
Yeah, and I mean, you just hear the words Leeds United, and obviously, you instantly think how massive a club it is, and with all the investment that's gone into it recently, it must be. It feels like things are finally on the move, especially for the women's team.
Yeah, the football club's a huge name in football, not just sort of domestic football, but in world football. So I think it's really pleasing now we're getting a lot of support from the football club in terms of the women's side, and that support's really showing now in terms of we're based at the training ground at Thorpe Arch. We've played a game this season at the stadium, which we played against York in November. So there's some really pleasing aspects, and I think it's a really good football club to be part of in terms of the support we get and where our ambitions are. Having that support is a huge part of it. But yeah, the female team, so the women's team's been in this league a lot of years now. So it's pleasing that we seem to be making strides in the right direction, but it's through a lot of hard work from everyone involved, sort of in the background, and the players this season that's got us around those sort of top positions and in sort of these conversations.
Yeah, and it's such a tough league. You've got so many local derbies in there. I mean, you mentioned York, but Huddersfield are in there as well. You've got Halifax, you've got Middlesbrough as well, haven't you? So, not Halifax, but you've got Middlesbrough in there. So there's a lot of like local derbies to contend with, isn't there?
Yeah, it looks to be the toughest sort of tier four division out there. And I mean, last season we gained two teams from tier three with Barnsley moving across. That was always going to make it harder. The teams that have come up, Barnsley are fighting in mid-table at the minute. Cheadle are fighting at the top of the league. They're above us on goal difference. So the teams that came down and the teams that came up have made the division really, really competitive. And it's something that we know about and we understand. And every game that we go into, it's you've got to be at your best, because if you're not, any team can hurt you on their day. And we found that last weekend when we played Fylde in the league. I mean, you look at it on paper, we're top there, bottom, and we've gone into that game. We've come away with a 2-0 loss, but in testing conditions, the first half, it was all them in terms of the chances created and things. We tried to keep playing in the conditions, but it was difficult to do. The second half, they sat very deep and we found it difficult to break down. But what was pleasing from us was seeing the way the players kept trying to play and kept trying to find their openings. And I think that's been part of our sort of early success in the season, in terms of we do try and play football, we do try and score goals, and it stood us in good stead. But yeah, it's a really, really competitive division. I think if anyone can predict all the results any Sunday, then they're doing really well.
I mean, what's been the secret to your success for the last month then for you to gain this award?
I think it's been a build up of the players performing and doing well. And I mean, we found ourselves when we looked at the start of the season, we knew it'd be a hard start because of the games and the teams that we had. And then obviously when the division started to develop, we knew that there was no easy games in this division. But yeah, we recruited well in the summer. We added 7 new faces to the squad of an already good, experienced squad, but the players have blended in well together, and it's given us almost. I think we've got an attitude on the pitch where we are never beaten, and we've got some real good quality. We've got quality that's come from the division above last season, and that's complemented what we already had well. And yeah, the players are a pleasure to work with, and the work rate and sort of the ability of the players. When we get it right on our day, we can be a real force in this division.
And I'm guessing as well, looking forward, you want to play more games at Ellen Road as well. The support seems to be there for the ladies' team, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, Ellen Road was a fantastic occasion. We didn't play there the previous season, but this year we saw an opportunity to play there. We got nearly 5,000 fans through the door, and at our fixtures, it's always a great occasion when we play our home games due to the support we get and the young support that we get from the young female fans that come and watch us. But what was really pleasing at Ellen Road was there was a lot of those supporters that probably had the first ever opportunity to go inside the stadium. and come watch female players playing inside the stadium. And after the game was as magical as sort of the build up and during, and seeing all those young fans at the end of the game come down and support and be able to get the selfies and get their autographs with the players that just watched. It set a really good sort of mood around what can be achieved. And I think the crowd shows the potential that we could have as a football club, and we've just got to keep doing the right things and progressing in the right way to make sure that we can keep having days like that at the stadium.
Yeah, and progression will be obviously to try and get into the National League North, and that can take you on again, then, can't it?
Yeah, and it's a challenge. It's a challenging league, as we've spoke about, but it's a difficult league to get out of. And with only having one promotion place in the league, you can't leave much room for error. But I think what the competitive nature of the league will show this year is that it could potentially be the lowest points that a team goes up with in the last few years, because of there's no team at the bottom that sort of slipped away yet, and the middle of the table is as tight as the top of the table. So I think we've just got to try and keep our consistency level. The aims at the start of the season were we needed to improve in terms of us as a football club from where we finished last year in sixth. And I think the progress we've made so far in the season shows that that's a possibility. We've getting to the top of the table earlier, sort of in the month, shows that we're heading in the right direction. But yeah, tier three is always the target, and if we can get there, that's amazing. But we've got to show progress in that we're showing the right sort of strives to get there.
Real well, Simon, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate.